what can I say? You've come this far, there's no turning back now. You should have gained a ton of information and done a lot of research to make you feel very comfortable with the message you've crafted, the avatar you've created, and the content you want to put out. The next steps are pretty important. We want to talk about, in this module, what an RSS feed is, what platforms you can use to host your podcast, the title of your podcast, which is so important, and what categories you want to list your podcast in. Knowing your categories will really help you leverage the opportunity to be boosted by the platforms that you're listed on and make you easily accessible to people who are looking for focused content in whatever topic that your podcast focuses on. By now, you should have given some thought to what you want to name your show. This is a major decision, so make sure you take the time to make sure you love the name of the show. It can be a real challenge to change the name of your show or your show art after you've already done a few shows. So be sure you're committed, you're happy, and you're in love with the title of your show. Let's take Brunch and Slay, for example. I already had an established brand and my audience was pretty small. I did not want to give my audience a hard time when it came to finding content about my brand. I wanted, no matter what the platform to be, I wanted it to be consistent with the name of our company, Brunch and Slay. I think the name said it all, and it also was pretty intriguing for people who are looking for new podcasts. They wanted to know, well, what the heck is Brunch and Slay and what's it all about? Here's where that homework comes in. I want you to grab that list you made of the 20 shows that you love the most, and I want you to take a moment and look at the names of each show. I also want you to take a deep dive on the bios. Each bio gives you a chance to really find out what the shows are about. A lot of folks really do a lot of deep diving. Think of it as the podcast version of Yelp. You'll want to share with potential followers and listeners what your show is about, and you want to do it in an easy, digestible way. There are so many great podcasts there. I'd like to show you a few examples. Number one, The Skim. I can't say enough about the way that they market the show, the way they position themselves, and the way they make sure everyone knows what to expect when they click on the icon. And of course, take a look at Brunch and Slay. It's taken me a while to craft our bio in a way that really speaks to our ideal avatar, but I think you'll like what you see. We crafted it and crafted it and crafted it again. So don't believe that your bio has to be the end all be all. Whatever you begin with will surely evolve. Let's take a look at Work Party. They really know who their avatar is. They capture them, number one, by their show art. It speaks volumes, it's captivating, and it pulls you in. Take a look at their bio. It's clear, it's concise, and it lets you know exactly what to expect in each episode. So here's where your homework kicks in. You've taken the time to do the work and find 20 shows that really resonate with you. I want you to take a deep dive and look at the names of the shows, look at the titles, and take a moment to read each bio. A bio says a lot about your show, and it gives potential listeners an opportunity to find out what you're all about without having to listen to one episode. Once you are 100% in love with the name of your show, it's time to move on to the categories. There are a ton of categories in which you can place your show. You have business, lifestyle, storytelling, educational. So you really want to dive deep and figure out what avenue is going to best serve you and your goals for your podcast. The reason why categories are so important is because this is another way for people to search out and find podcasts that really resonate with them. Perhaps they want something more lifestyle, more entertainment, but yours has a more business focus. It helps you narrow down and really get into your niche market and connect with them. So you want to stay focused on the category right now. Brunch and Slay is in the business category because we definitely talk to women, and most of them are in some kind of way business women, whether they are physicians or actresses. They typically have a brand that we're honing in and we're highlighting on. So Brunch and Slay is in the business platform. So go back to that list, our magical list. I'm going to keep referring to it, so please don't tire of it. Go back to that list of your top 20 and look and see what categories they're in. A lot of times you're going to have two opportunities to put in a category. For example, I use SoundCloud to host the Brunch and Slay podcast. There's a category in SoundCloud, as well as every time I update or upload the show to iTunes, I categorize it there. So you want to be consistent across all platforms. That brings me to the RSS feed. In a nutshell, an RSS feed is where the web and users use an application to constantly update your feed. So it keeps you from having to upload your recorded episode to every single platform. If you have a favorite platform, you'll probably notice that they say they're available on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, or Stitcher. Well, it would be kind of taxing to have to upload that file to every single platform. So you're going to have an RSS feed for your podcast. That literally is where your podcast lives. You plug and play that RSS feed to every platform you log in or sign up for, and it updates every time you have a new episode. Now, there are a ton of options when it comes to hosting your RSS feed. When I first started the Brunch and Slay podcast, there were probably about 4 options that were really reputable. Some of them were really intimidating for me. So I went with the least intimidating, most elementary version as far as user-friendly when I say elementary, because it's a great platform. I chose SoundCloud. It's super easy. I didn't have to have 17 tutorials. I didn't have to go to YouTube University to figure out how to use it. And I still use it to host Brunch and Slay now. As I said before, there are a number of platforms you can use, from Buzzsprout, which is free, to start and easy to use. It gives you great stats. And you have Transistor, which is best for hosting multiple shows. So if you are a person who's wanting to start a podcast network, or you have several different podcasts that you like to create across your different brands and businesses, Transistor might be the best bet for you. You have Podbean, which allows you to have unlimited storage and bandwidth. You have Blueberry, which is great for WordPress. It's easy to plug in, and WordPress has come a long way, so you can also add your RSS feeds to WordPress. Captivate, which is great for unlimited podcasts and unlimited team members. So if you have multiple team members or you're starting a podcast network, you'll want to be able to have something where they can log in, they can upload episodes without having one username or passcode. So I know this may sound overwhelming, and we're jumping into the rabbit hole a bit, but I want you to know that there are options. And it's really going to narrow down and boil down to what you feel most comfortable with. And again, I chose SoundCloud. It works for me. I've never had any issues with it. I originally started out with the free version, and I've since upgraded. It cost me, at the time of this recording, about $17 a month to host my RSS feed there. And again, Brunch and Slay has over 150 shows that are live right now, and more that are batched and ready to go. I definitely recommend SoundCloud. There are lots of options, so I definitely think it's going to be based on what you're more comfortable with. Your knowledge may already be way above what mine is, or your ambition may be above what mine is. So it really is going to cater to what's going to work best for you. If you're editing your own shows, or if you're outsourcing, and how large your platform is as far as where you want your reach to be. I can tell you that with SoundCloud, my reach is globally. So we have listeners in Africa and Europe, everywhere. So it hasn't limited any of our reach, and we're still on all other platforms. So it really is going to be a personal decision. And of course, because I want you to know all your resources and your options, here are a few more platforms that may serve you best. And there are more platforms being created every day and launching every day. You even have Anchor, where you can record, host, and they put out your podcast across tons of mediums. So do your research, use this as a foundation or as a starting point, and go from there. You're going to have to do some research, but again, you have tons of options right here. Now, let's talk about something that really confuses a lot of people: show art. Whew, it is a world out there. When it comes to show art, you want something that is bold. So as you looked at those 20 shows that you've been studying, that you really love and that really answer to your brand, I'm sure some of them you were initially attracted to because of their show art. So think about, number one, what attracts you, what you like, because you want to be married to this art for a little while. And the reason I say that is because it can be a little challenging changing your show art once you've launched your show. I've changed the Brunch and Slay art 3 times to date. My initial art I made myself using Canva. It was just something to get us out there. I knew it wasn't what I would grow into, but it was a great place to start. The second one I created myself. I got some new photos made. And then our most recent version, I made it a little bit bolder, and I definitely build upon our second show art. So I wanted something that immediately grabbed your attention. I wanted it to be colorful. I wanted it on brand, and I wanted it a little bit sassy because I knew our avatar might be someone who's more recently into podcasting. And I know she's an aesthetic girl. She wants something that's a little bit prim and proper, right? But very bold, on trend. So our new show art reflects that. So now that you have an idea of how you want to deliver your show art, whether you want to use a cartoon or you want to just use lettering or fonts, be sure that you consider the size. Apple is really particular about the size. They have stipulations. So make sure you use the resources in this course so that you dot every I and cross every T. The last thing I want you to do is to stop and be frustrated because you don't know the next step to take. You know right now that you need great show art, that you need a caption or a name of your show that's really going to grab your ideal avatar's attention. You know that you're going to need particular sizing. You know that you're going to have a host for your RSS feeds. And now you have the foundation for a kick-ass, badass, binge-worthy podcast. And we are right in the thick of it. You have come a long way. So take a moment, reflect on your pod work, and let's keep building.